members of Mayor Council. Mike Witsansky, Interim Assistant City Manager. As Councilmember Brand mentioned, Joe Galliani, who's here on behalf of the South Bay Clean Power Working Group. The South Bay Clean Power Working Group has been collaborating with different agencies in the South Bay and beyond, now Santa Monica as well, and trying to bring about a concept known as community choice aggregation, which is effectively sort of a joint powers authority that local governments can work collectively to use their buying power and ultimately influence the type of power that is purchased for distribution within the region. It's an opportunity, and it's been deployed effectively in Northern California in both Sonoma and Marin counties to target renewable power sources and effectuate that through actual consumption. And it's afforded to these communities under the law. There was an assembly bill passed in 2002 that effectively sets the framework for these types of partnerships, and you do this and distribute the power in collaboration with the local utility. So they have to participate in it. It's something that they ultimately would handle transmission and billing and all the other elements of power distribution that you typically find. And it is effectively an opportunity for us to work together and focus on clean power sources and supplies rather than be beholden to whatever sources the local utility, in our case Southern California Edison, would utilize. So it's in a sense taking back local control, if you will, for our power purchasing. But Joe, I think it's worth bringing Joe up, and he can answer any specific questions related to their progress to date. Several cities have already signed on with similar resolutions. The next phase in this is to embark on a feasibility study that looks at how this might be implemented in the region, sort of what our targeted goals could be, costs, things of that nature. So this is really a primary step, not one that commits the city, frankly, if a CCA were to be formed, but certainly shows support for a potentially viable program that can bring about some positive environmental change.
Well, what would be good, actually, Joe, is to explain how it works. I mean, it's somewhat complicated, and it would be great for everybody to hear what exactly community choice aggregation is and the way we're going to support renewables and get away from using fossil fuels.
Sure, I'd be happy to. This all came about, and first of all, I'm Joe Galliani. I live in the City of Torrance, although I do proudly claim a Redondo Beach mailing address from the Riviera. So, community choice aggregation in its simplest form is cities banding together to pool their energy purchase use and thereby having the buying power to go out, as we're now allowed to do, on the open market and essentially cut a better deal than Southern California Edison can give us. Because the joint powers authority that's formed to do this, and what happens is each of the cities that participates in a program like this gets a representative, typically it's a council member, as that city's representative on the CCA board, and that board decides what the priorities for that community choice program is. For most communities in California, community choice aggregation programs like this are the best way to meet the AB 32 goals that we have here and our mandates from the state in terms of cutting our emission. It's the simplest, it's the easiest way, and it enjoys support from a broad spectrum of people because it gives us local control. The two existing programs up north give us a proof of concept. Marin Clean Energy has been in business now since 2010. Last year they saved their customers $6.9 million. They're able to do that because they offer lower rates than the utility does. And they're able to offer lower rates because they're a nonprofit. And so that amount of money that goes toward profit and administrative large salaries in a Southern California Edison or a PG&E or a San Diego Gas and Electric is out of the loop in this case. And so in Marin Clean Energy, they're offering, I believe it's 50% renewable energy as their baseline for less money than you're getting the 22% from PG&E. But more importantly, they're able to make local rules. So right now, the best you can do if you put solar on your house here in Redondo Beach with Southern California Edison is zero out your bill. And that's a great thing. You pay nothing for electricity. But if you have a big house or a large yard and you generate twice the amount of energy that you use, you don't get paid back for that. With a community choice aggregation program, they want first and foremost to buy their energy locally. So they incentivize people with solar to sell back more solar than they use, and they pay them a retail rate. They actually cut people a check at the end of the year. So if you're a community that has large warehouse space, large open space, our friends in Torrance have 84 brownfield sites that have a potential for 544 megawatts of solar. That's land right now that won't be developed any other way, but that's land that's going to now bring in local investment, and then somebody is going to own that solar and sell it back to the Community Choice Power Program, and somebody's going to have a long-term contract to do that. That's what we're hoping for here. Luckily, this feasibility study that Redondo Beach is being asked to do should, we hope, be an easy yes, because it's a non-binding resolution and we don't expect your city to pay for it. A feasibility study does have expenses involved. It's a couple of $100,000. There are other expenses involved, but other regions, including Alameda County, have been funded by the county itself. Their Board of Supervisors are funding their study. And grant money is funding the study in Santa Cruz County. We have spoken to funding sources here. We're confident that we can get the money to do this. And the reason we're confident is this program uses no tax dollars. And what it does is it reimburses any investment in a feasibility study or development costs from the program itself when it's up and running. And that's what's happened up north. Last but not least, our friends at Southern California Edison are made whole in this program because they add on fees for distribution and transmission. And they're not left out in the cold. They're the delivery partner here. And this is, in essence, what deregulation in California was meant to do, to separate the generation of energy and the purchase and selling of it from the transmission and delivery of it. So these community choice aggregation programs do that. Our effort here has gotten a great momentum. Hermosa Beach passed this resolution first last year. Manhattan Beach passed it second. We're very hopeful of passage here. Next Tuesday night, this is on the consent calendar in Torrance. We're also speaking right now to the City of Carson. We expect them next to bring this to their council, followed by Inglewood. Our strategy is to bring in all 15 cities that are members of the South Bay COG. We've worked together for a long time. We have a relationship together. And because of the momentum that we've developed, the City of Santa Monica has come to us and joined this effort. We've also heard from Culver City.
Okay, thanks. I think we got the point now.
You bet.
What is the
This consent
timeline,
calendar,
George,
we
in terms of the feasibility study? And I mean, how many cities do you have to get before you're going to move ahead with the study?
We think if we get the 7 first target cities, that will get the funding, and then other cities, once the funding is in place, will opt in as well.
So when do you think the feasibility study might be completed?
Well, first we have to start it, but I would say we can get the feasibility study started by June, and it can probably be completed by the end of the year.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. That was
Thank
great.
you. Anybody else? Okay, is there a motion?
Yeah, I make the motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the city to participate in the feasibility study.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
There you go. Good. Okay,